What's good, YouTube? Zamcrow here, aka Scoop, back with the World Showdown Series, Season 5, Week number 5, when we're taking on PG Will, coach of We Will Take Your Coke. really, what's the word? Unique team name and stuff like that. He has a pretty threatening squad. He has Blacephalon, Cabalion, Comfy, Gavantula, Garbodor, Landorus, Therian, Manectric, Milotic, Salamence, Scrafty, and then Mega Venusaur. Those are in alphabetical order, not the way he drafted them. Obviously, no one's getting Landers in round 6, and no one's probably going to get Mega Venusaur, round 11. So, really cool squad, and really threatening. I felt like I prepped for this match. This match was a really tough match to prep for, and I've been prepping on pen and paper, and not really having Showdown in front of me and stuff like that. I've been having to do without calcs, but still doing with like speed tiers and stuff like that. My best, very best possible, And I just built a team I felt like could be very threatening versus my opponent. It's a little bit offensive, but it does have a defensive backbone to it. As you can see, I got Licky and Suicune, and Fortress is obviously going to be my rocker. Or it could be Garchomp. But, yeah, so we have Tapu Lele, Garchomp, Suicune, Crobat, Fortress, Alola, Marowak, Licky, Magneton, Sneasel, Virizion, and the Mega Alakazam. And we're bringing Tapu Lele, Garchomp, Suicune, Fortress, Licky, and Mega Alakazam. Our opponent has 3 potential defoggers in Comfy, Landorus, Therian, and Salamence. He has a Spiker in Garbodor, and a Toxic Spikes in Garbodor. He has 2 Stealth Rockers in Cabalion and Landorus, Therian, and he has Sticky Webs. So this man's got every bit of the hazards that you can have in the game. Sticky Webs with Galvantula, that is. Comfy gets Heal Bell and Aromatherapy. Won't run both, but it does get both. Salamence gets Wish, and then he does have just a little bit of priority. Scrafty gets Faint, and Cabalion and Manectric both get Quick Attack. Excuse me. And Galvantula gets Sucker Punch, and that's something to think about. However, I do have the Psychic Terrain, so I haven't really seen anybody run any priority against me yet. My opponent is 2-2, and we are currently sitting at 3-1. So he could potentially knock me down to 3-2, and he could go to 3-2, or I could potentially knock him down to 2-3, and for us to go 4-1, which is the most optimal for us. We're trying to get back into that title match. We are the defending champions this season, and we want to go back to the championship. We want to win it again and just be stingy with it. We don't want that title going anywhere. But yeah, very fun squad here. So let's go ahead and get into it and talk about it a little bit. So we got the Tapu Lele here. So if you look at his squad, like I mentioned earlier, he has no Psychic Resist. He has no Ground Resist. So Tapu Lele and Garchomp were 2 automatic brings for me. Very easy for me to choose these 2 mons. His Ground Resist are immunities, Landorus, Therian, and Salamence, which don't appreciate, like a Dragonium Z or Outrage or anything like that. Anyways, let's start off with Tapu Lele here. We have the Psychic, which is boosted by Twisted Spoons and boosted by the Psychic Terrain, whilst also protecting myself from priority. So really solid mon here. We've got what was our speed investment? We have enough speed to outpace a what was it? Modest. Okay, we're outspeeding Landorus Therian first of all. That was the first and foremost most important thing to outspeed. But then we noticed that, if he runs a modest, I think it's Blacephalon. If he runs modest Blacephalon, we can actually outpace that if he's not Choice Scarf. So Psychic is bopping, like I said, everything. He's got one mon that is like, oh, never mind. He has 1 resistance, or 1 immunity, which is Scrafty, which is bopped by Moonblast, 4 times effective. Psychic bops everything else. He has no switch in. Got the Calm Mind for things like, I can set up on maybe a Milotic. I could set up on like forcing Mega Venusaur out, or like Manectric or Comfy or something like that. Just click Calm Mind and then start ripping through his team, I'm telling you. And then we've got Taunt there so that we can prevent things like Mega Venusaur from synthesizing. We could prevent, we could lead with it and prevent Garbodor from, setting up spikes or Toxic Spikes or anything like that. Prevent Comfy from clicking Synthesis and whatnot. And it's just a really solid mon overall with this moveset. Only needed Dual Stab, and with Calm Mind boosting my special attack, to outrageous amounts of, I guess, a base stat. But yeah, it's just a really solid mon. Like I said, my opponent has no resistance, no immunity outside of Scrafty, which gets bopped 4 times effective by the Moonblast. But I do feel like he has to bring Scrafty just so that I can't spam psychic type attacks. And then he can maybe, scout to see if I'm Scarf, and if I'm not Scarf, then he realizes he's going to have to sack something, bring something in to revenge kill me. I think Cabalion and Blacephalon both have to come so that he can always have a way to revenge kill me if I'm not Scarf. And then if I am Scarf, he can pivot around like maybe Mega Venusaur and Scrafty. If he brings both of those, he has a solid Fairy Resist as well as a Psychic Immunity, which is pretty solid in my opinion. So that's 4 Mons right there that I think are going to come. Landorus Therian has to come. It's the best Pokemon in the format in my opinion, and it just has to come. So Blacephalon, Cabalion, Scrafty, Mega Venusaur, and Landorus Therian. Then the last one could be any kind of toss-up, Comfey, Galvantula, Milotic, Salamence, anything like that could come. So next up we have our Garchomp, which is going to be the Ground EMZ this week. Sub, Swords Dance, Earthquake, Dragonclaw. Dual Stab was enough. I feel like if I get behind the sub, but then after, +2, Dragonclaw is going to be able to, 2-hit KO just about everything on its team. Milotic may be a problem, and that's the reason I'm bringing like Ground EMZ. If I get up a Swords Dance, I could potentially, if I click Swords Dance and then he brings in Milotic, I might click Sub and see what he wants to go for. And then if he's like clicking Ice Beam, I might just go ahead and click the Ground EMZ. I might switch out. It just depends on how much health he has and if he's like rocking the Flame Orb or not, or not. So yeah, the Ground EMZ there. Garchomp's, he has no resistance to this. This is going to blow through his team as well, unless he has some sort of tech or he gets me first. Like like I said, he's got Blacephalon, Landorus Therian, Salamence, and Scrafty, all very potent threats. So if his offense runs through me first, then I can't do anything about that, and I have to use can't expect my offense to run through offense that's running through me. So that being said, next up we're getting into our defensive backbone here, and we have our Suicune, which is a Protect, Scald, Ice Beam, Toxic set. We have Ice Beam here. This thing is max HP, nearly max defense with just a little bit of speed investment, so that in case he tries to speed creep me, I can maybe avoid that. Got the Ice Beam for Landorus Therian, Double Dance or Swords Dance, anything like that could be very problematic. It is not a Z-move user though, which I think is a little bit strange, considering Landorus Therian is one of the best Z-move users in the game. So I can kind of check it here with the Ice Beam, and then same thing for Salamence if it wants to set up. I got the Toxic, Protect, and Scald so that I can wear down things that might want to set up on me too. Like if I throw off a Toxic on Salamence and he Dragon Dances, the following turn I click Protect, and then I can click Ice Beam. Same thing for Scrafty. If I'm able to get a Toxic on it and it's not Shed Skin, then I could potentially wear it down as well with Protect, Scald, switching around, maybe sack something if I have to, and just make my way around that. And you can look at my EVs here and see that I didn't. You'll see on all of my defensive backbone and Garchomp for that matter. But yeah, we can just get into, you can see that here my EVs aren't that great. Like, it's just like max defense, max HP, with just a little bit of speed investment. And if I move on over here to Fortress, you'll see that I'm Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, Earthquake, Rapid Spin, very standard set, max HP, max Spadef. This thing comes in on Mega Venusaur, comes in on Milotic, Manectric, Galvantula, Comfey. Mostly Comfey, that's the biggest threat in terms of like, I mean, this is the best check to Comfey that I have. In terms of defense, I believe. So like hitting it with a Gyro Ball is really nice. Max HP, max Spadef. I'm not taking much from whatever it wants to go for there. And I can get my rocks up, pressure the Blacephalon, pressure the Galvantula, pressure Salamence. All of these Mons don't appreciate Stealth Rocks. Click Earthquake. Like if he wants to switch hard into Blacephalon and take an Earthquake, then after Stealth Rocks I might be able to knock him out with that. Got the Rapid Spin there to support my own Mons. I don't necessarily need to avoid rocks or spikes, but Toxic Spikes and Sticky Web are very crucial. Cannot let those be up. So definitely got to keep this thing healthy and make sure that I need to have this thing around until Galvantula is gone at least. I can deal with Toxic Spikes a little bit better, but if my speed is lowered, then I'm having a problem dealing with his team, and I can't let that be. Next up, we have Licky Licky. And you can see here we're running a very, very unorthodox item. It's not even released yet, but it's not banned from the league. I talked with the commissioner beforehand, made sure that I could bring this. And what mill is, it's an item that you can never lose. I don't think it can be knocked off, and I don't think it can be tricked away. And that's the best thing about this, because I am max HP, max def. This thing switches in on Blacephalon, Fire Blast, Overheat. If he specs, he will be able to blow me away. But if he specs and he goes for Fire Blast, then I can just, pivot out into my Suicune. If he specs, if I have Suicune in and he specs and goes for Shadow Ball, I can click Protect and Scout for it. If he goes for the Shadow Ball, then I can pivot out into Licky Licky and prevent, myself from being hit as well as being tricked. So Earthquake bops that. Ice Beam hits Landorus, Therian, and Salamence. I felt like they were the biggest threats, so I felt like bringing coverage for those was, just the best case scenario for me. Wish passing is really solid. I can come in on things like Mega Venusaur, throw off a Wish, and then hard switch into something like Tapu Lele. If he's not Sludge Bomb, or if he is Sludge Bomb, I can switch out into Mega Alakazam, which we'll get into a second. And then I can pass a Wish. I can throw a Wish off, take a hit, and then switch out into Mega Alakazam, take a hit from Mega Venusaur, and then get the Wish back, which would be really, really solid. And yeah, we'll go ahead and hop into Mega Alakazam here. We have 2 attacks and sub Calm Mind. As you can see, he has no, like I mentioned earlier, no Psychic Resist. He has 1 immunity, being Scrafty, which is 4 times weak to Dazzle and Gleam. And I can bop that. I can sub up on quite a bit of things. Milotic, Manectric, potentially Mega Venusaur, as well as maybe Comfy. And I can click Calm Mind. I can click sub. I can sub and then set up and run through his team. I can use Trace to trace Beast Boost. I can trace, what's that one? I forgot that one ability that Comfy gets that makes its healing moves go first. But I can what's the Landorus, Therian, and Salamence, and Scrafty. If he brings, those mons, I can always switch in on them and then double back out, get the Intimidate off, and then double out into, one of my checks, which would be really solid. And then Manectric, I could potentially get the Lightning Rod ability so that it can't really hurt me as well. I am modest with enough speed to outpace Cobalion, which is his fastest mon outside of any potential Choice Scarfers. And I'm able to run a modest max special attack. So this thing's just nuking things, absolutely nuking things. And then we got we've got nearly max HP because we really didn't have to run any speed investment. Being base 150 speed, you have that comfortable speed to where you can only invest a little bit, put a lot more into bulk, take hits, better from things like maybe Garbodor or Comfy, maybe the Manectric, Milotic, or the Mega Venusaur. Obviously not taking physical hits, Mega Alakazam is very frail on the physical defense side, but it is what it is. I felt like the Mail was a nice tech here. Twisted Spoon's Lele in the Psychic Terrain was phenomenal brain. I feel like Lele and Garchomp can really run through his team as long as I play them right. That being said, we can go ahead and hop into the replay and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and my opponent does bring, 4 of the 6 mons I predicted. Well, I predicted that, he could bring a wild card. I felt like Galvantula and Salamence were very, very solid potential wild cards. But he didn't bring Landorus, Therian, which I thought was a must. Well, not really a must, but why not, right? Blacephalon, Cobalion, Scrafty, and Mega Venusaur, I knew those 4 were coming. Galvantula and Salamence, like I mentioned, wild cards. I definitely thought Landorus, Therian would come. I guess Salamence can provide Wish and Defog support, which is maybe a little bit more useful than maybe a Landorus or something like that. But he could have brought maybe Salamence and Landorus over the Galvantula, which would have been pretty solid for him. But yeah, we're pretty happy with this. I guess some things to look out for. His only Stealth Rocker is Cobalion in this matchup, since it's the only one he brought anyway. So I know Cobalion is a potential lead for him, and I just there's not he could have Hidden Power Ice for Garchomp. He could have he could be Scarf Iron Head for Mega Alakazam and Tapu Lele. He could have Close Combat for Licky Licky. So I felt like my best lead was to just he could lead off with Galvantula or Cobalion. He's actually going to lead off with his Salamence. So knowing that he could potentially lead off with Galvantula, I'm going to lead off with Fortress. He actually leads off with Salamence though. Maybe predicting Garchomp or my Fortress to be you know, my Stealth Rocker. He could be Habanberry, so that, he guarantees lives a hit from Garchomp, and then it could knock me back out with like Draco or Outrage or something like that. And then he could also have Flamethrower or Fire Blast for Fortress, and he could maybe just be a Defog set, maybe a Wish Pass set or something like that. Nonetheless, though, it's not safe for us to stay in here because he could potentially start Dragon Dancing, and I don't want that to be an issue. So I'm going to hard switch out into Suicune. I can take any one hit at +1, even, like Z Outrage or something like that, and I can just go for a Toxic here. Ice Beam, because it caught the Venusaur because it hasn't Mega Evolved yet and got Thick Fat. So Ice Beam was definitely my best play there. And I'm going to go for the Toxic here on the Scrafty. And he's already revealed Intimidate, so I know he's not Shed Skin. And he's actually going to Dragon Dance here on my Tapu Lele. But I didn't know how fast he was here, so I thought maybe Tapu Lele could still outspeed. And I felt like he might not have coverage for it. But he actually packs the Iron Head, and he's able to knock me out there. So he actually gets rid of a huge threat really, really early. And I played my Lele really, really bad there. And I should have just doubled back into my Suicune, predicting either the poison type attack or the steel type attack. But here I'm able to just poison him, hit him up with a Scald, and then protect so that he's in range of Toxic and he faints. Now I'm going to hard switch into my Licky as he brings in Galvantula. I didn't want hit by a Thunder or anything like that, Thunder or a Volt Switch or a Thunderbolt or anything like that. I'm just going to throw off a Wish here as he goes into Mega Venusaur, and I'm going to hard switch into Mega Alakazam actually. So that if he went for Sludge Bomb, I could recover all my health back. But here he goes into Cobalion, and I didn't see an item or anything. I didn't want him to be Choice Scarf and potentially knock me out there, so I'm going to hard switch out into my Suicune as he reveals Protect and then throws up his Stealth Rock. So my opponent actually, I could have, just knocked him out there with the Mega Alakazam. He has no resistance, so I should have maybe did that. But here I'm going to go into Fortress to actually get rid of rocks, as well as set mine up. And he's revealed Flamethrower already. I don't actually want to take the turn to Rapid Spin yet. I'm going to go out to my Suicune, as he actually defogs for me. So super solid. Like I mentioned, he only had defog to get rid of rocks, and he needs to do that for his Blacephalon. And here I'm just going to take the time to get my rocks back up with my Fortress. I could Rapid Spin these Seeds away, but no real reason to. I can just hard switch out into Licky in case he wanted to go back out into Mints, because I do have the Ice Beam. And here I'm just going to throw off a Wish as he actually sacks his Cobalion to Stealth Rocks. And here I'm going to actually click Ice Beam and see what kind of damage I can do, and it drops the Mints. So really happy about that. I was super excited right there. And he's able to bring in his Galvantula here, and I'm just going to click Earthquake and see what kind of damage I can get off on him. I'm not sure what he was predicting there. Maybe my Fortress to come out on Galvantula to maybe spin, but we're able to get that right as well. And now he's in a position to where Blacephalon's super weakened, and now I'm going to go out to my Fortress and get my rocks back up. And I know he has to hard switch into Blacephalon here, but I still want to get my rocks up first instead of clicking Earthquake first. So now I'm going to hard switch back out into Licky. He can't like switch out at this point, so I can just Wish Pass and Wish Pass and Wish Pass. Well, Wish Protect. No real reason to pass it off to anything else yet, but yeah, I can just keep clicking this Wish Pass, Wish Protect, Wish Protect, Wish Protect, get back in range to where I can take a Flamethrower and then click Earthquake. But what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to throw off one more Wish, and I don't know if I actually get this one back, or yeah, I do throw it off to my Suicune. I thought maybe I would have got that one back and then threw off the next one to Suicune. But yeah, I get my Wish back here, and now I can just click Scald. But in the case that he is not Scarf, I wanted to scout for the Shadow Ball. But he reveals Flamethrower here, and he's able to knock us out. And he finally gets his Beast Boost. But now I can go into Suicune. I know he's not able to switch up his moves because he would have earlier when I brought in my Suicune. So I'm able to just knock him out with the Scald there, and now he goes into Mega Venusaur. I can click Protect, but I didn't want him to be any kind of weird set, so I'm just going to hard switch out into my Fortress as he goes for the Sludge Bomb. And now I'm going to double out into Mega Alakazam, predicting maybe a Hidden Power Fire or something. And he does reveal the Hidden Power Fire, but we're able to knock him pretty close. As you can see, Mega Venusaur is super bulky. I'm modest max special attack Mega Alakazam and wasn't able to knock out Mega Venusaur with a super effective hit. However, Galvantula, he brings it in. He could have been Scarfed, but if he was, he couldn't have, locked himself into any one move to knock out all of my Mons. So I was able to just go ahead and click Psychic there, and Mega Alakazam is actually going to pick up 2 knockouts. Really sad match for Tapu Lele. But we do come out with a 4-0 victory. Very good game, man. Good game to Will. Good luck to the rest of your season, my man. And yeah, really happy with our performance here. I felt like we were definitely, we didn't put as much time and investment into this prep as we could have and should have. And as you can see, Scrafty almost got the best of us there. Had we not had that toxic, he may have been able to do something with that. However, Mega Alakazam is really, really fast, and had he been not max speed, I could have potentially. And like he had revealed knockoff, Drain Punch, and Iron Head as his moves, so he couldn't have knocked out my Garchomp with any one move anyway, and he would have had a hard time breaking Suicune as well with that set. So yeah, I think that match was a pretty solid match, really nice, fun, 41 turns there, and I felt like the tech on Licky Licky was super nice. I do think he had to have been Scarf Blacephalon to maybe break Licky Licky, or at least cripple it with a Scarf or something like that. But yeah, good game, man. And we're going to move on to 4-1, and we're going to be facing off against, I'm not actually sure who we face off against next week. I'm not even worried about it yet. I'll worry about that when the time comes. We'll go one game at a time, and yeah, we'll try to keep winning and stuff like that, and make our way to the playoffs. We're now sitting at 4-1, like I mentioned, with a plus 12 differential, so not bad at all for our first 5 games. And hopefully we can get some more better prep in next week, so that we don't get caught off guard with anything like a Dragon Dance Scrafty or something like that. Not that Dragon Dance is an odd set or anything like that, but I just didn't. I felt he was going to be more of a defensive role or something like that. But yeah, that's going to be it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.